I was thinking about it, and I probably should have worn the conference shirt. It's a North American Shepherds Conference. And I think God has a sense of humor because he got part of it right. So at least I have the North, and so praise God. But hey, my name is Johnnie. I'm the shepherd of Burundi House Church. I've been doing it for about a year and a half. And I wanted to share my experience and my reflections from this conference. But first, I would like to thank God just for the opportunity to allow me to go and experience what he had in store for me. And I think he really worked in my heart to just be thankful to go. Because I think there were some things going on where I was kind of hesitant, but in the end, I was very thankful. And before I move on, I also want to thank my wife, Christina, for holding it down at home with her 2 kids. I know it's not easy, but I'm so thankful that God gave me you as my wife, and you love our children so well. So thanks for being so supportive in me going when I was hesitant. You're the best, and I couldn't have asked for a better partner. That's pretty good, right? One of the sessions was about marriage, and they said to be openly loving to your spouse. So, yeah. And thanks to all the moms that actually came over to hang out with Christina. So Jean, Hannah, and April, thank you as well. I felt more ease at the conference thanks to you guys, and I could focus better on what was going on. So y'all are the best. You know what? Let's give another round of applause to all the moms here. So y'all are the life givers. All right. So I wanted to start with just how amazing it was at the conference to see the scale of how big House Church is across not only the nation of America, but across the world. There were people all the way from Florida to Seattle. There were even some from Hawaii in this conference. But there are literally house churches and shepherds everywhere across the world and different nations as well. So being a shepherd and being a part of one house church in the city of Dallas in this church, it can be easy to have a tunnel vision of just myself as a shepherd and my house church. But this really made it feel like it was a part of something bigger and much more meaningful. It felt unifying across the body of Jesus to be a part of this mission. I've also realized more and more that house church is pretty unique. You may have heard at one point or another that we do house church to restore the New Testament church that Jesus began 2,000 years ago, right? And the pastor that began this house church ministry that spoke at the conference, he deepened my understanding and appreciation of it by calling house church the church that Jesus dreamed of when it began way back then, after he died and rose from the dead. And you may have been a part of house church for a different time of length, for a couple months, maybe a couple years. Or if you're like me, you have been a part of house church in many ways, starting from childhood. We may have gotten used to it, but when you really think about it, it's really not a normal place to be in. It's not normal for people to have a place with dedicated time to share both blessings and struggles, prayer requests and celebrations. For the average person you interact with, your coworkers, grocery store, the Amazon delivery guy, other family members, they really don't have a set place to share and talk about their life. It's not a common thing to do in other churches as well. Some people have no one to celebrate with, some have no one to share struggles with, and if they do have people to share struggles with, it's rare not to receive judgment. So ANF, this is a really big deal. It's a big deal to be a part of this ministry and have the opportunity to share your life with others. With people that will actually listen to you, and even beyond that, actually pray for you. So don't be afraid to invite others to house church. You have been given such a great gift from God, so don't neglect passing on this gift to those around you. And also, being a shepherd is a privilege, but I think some of us would be hesitant to take on such a role. If Jesus presented the opportunity to you to be a shepherd, what would stop you? Do you feel you have to live your life out more before you need to give it up? Or maybe do you not feel ready for certain reasons? But I hope that you can change your mind and that realize that it is a privilege to be able to join Jesus in his mission, to partake in his followers' lives, to watch them grow and become more like Jesus, and to witness the lost be saved. And you could be a part of all of this. If you say it's because it's not easy, well, of course it really isn't, but no good thing really comes from easiness. So don't let difficulty be a reason to stop you. And shepherds, we are not perfect people, and that's okay. But it is a great opportunity, and God can use all those difficult moments to mold us to be more like Jesus. To be more like Jesus, doesn't that sound great? I myself am not perfect. Throughout my life, I've dealt with really bad depression. I've had suicidal thoughts multiple points of my life. I wanted to quit high school, wanted to quit college, had no hope in my careers. I lied a lot growing up. I struggled with lust. And there was a point in my life that my mom was so frustrated and sad with me that she said that she wished that both of us could end the suffering and just no longer live. I had been cheated on twice in 2 different relationships, which has damaged my relationships with women. So, women, if you feel like I distance myself from you, it's not because I hate you. It's just something I struggle with. I'll work on it, my bad. But all this to say, I know what kinds of pains and struggles this world can bring. People struggle with their self-image, their body image, how successful they are, how smart they are, how much money they make, how worried they are about the future. We all have different addictions and struggles, but the thing is, right? Everything that I can name and list, Jesus knows you 100%, and even better than we know ourselves. But even though that's true, he was and still is there with us through it all, and still loves us to the deep parts of our hearts. So shepherds, let's work on opening up and being honest. We can do this for the sake of our members so that they can open up and feel Jesus' love without feeling judged. Then they can truly experience redemption and salvation. I myself have been to several churches, and in one of them, I was about it for 2 years, and they were very heavy on theology and Bible study. They had a lot of pride in studying and understanding the depths and secrets of the Bible, and the secrets were truly amazing. However, when I was struggling with my own life, no one was there for me. One time I was opening up to someone just for them to say, "Hey, sorry, I'm going to stop you because I think you should just go to the pastor instead." So I went to a pastor and he said, "I think it's best if you just get plugged in and serve more." And so I just didn't feel the love and the care that I thought I needed. Because of all this, I was struggling, and I thought about leaving this church, and I was open about it with other people there. But one day, in an outside street of the church, there was my Bible study teacher on the other side, and we were walking towards each other. And I know he was kind of disappointed with me and how I was feeling, but I thought he would at least acknowledge me. But he opened his phone, looked down, and just walked past. So I wasn't even acknowledged anymore at that point. And he was a master in Bible study, but he ultimately failed me in that day. House church lets us love. It lets us struggle and get through them together. It lets us know we are not alone. We can also have fights and disagreements with each other and let our hurts and opinions be known. It allows us to be open and honest, so let's be open and honest. I myself still have to work to be more open with my struggles. I don't know how people perceive me, but I hope with what I've opened up today that you may know a little bit more about my imperfections. There is some other stuff going on, like little side quests during this conference. I grew up in this church in Houston in New Life, and there was a particular guy who I'm not going to name just for his privacy because some people know him. He was struggling a lot in his life. He was depressed, and he had really bad relationships with other people. Eventually, it led him to leave the church, and he hurt some people along the way. But sometime later, so I kind of left him, and it's been 8 years, but sometime later, in the midst of that period, he was actually led back to the church. He learned to ask for forgiveness. He amended relationships, and I came to this conference and found him a shepherd himself. So I got to come back and see him doing so well after leaving him and being worried about how he would end up. And the crazy thing is, in my small group, I learned that one of my members was actually his shepherd when he came back. And so we had some really good conversations and catching up. And so it was just a very good experience. I did my part. However, God carried the rest and brought amazing change. Second side quest. There was a guy who had, so this is actually pertaining, this is related to Chris Lee, who's also in my house church. And my parents are shepherds as well, and he had family members in my house church, and they had a huge falling out. They had deep arguments and fights. There were death threats, and police were involved. So I saw Chris's brother there, and I was a bit hesitant to try and talk to him, but we eventually did, and we had a very normal but sweet conversation. And I was glad that we did not have to carry over the bitterness of our families into our relationship. Another thing that happened was I saw one of my past girlfriends. I got over it, but she always kind of avoided me before, possibly because of shame or guilt or some mix of those. But this time around, she was able to approach and at least say hello. So to me, being able to see it gradually getting better, it was very good to see that, and I'm so thankful. Ultimately, all of these things happen because of house church. House church is a place where we can have heaven as a goal, a place where we can come to Jesus. It can and should be a safe place for members to struggle, because it is better for them to struggle in house church than alone in the world. So, Burundi house church members, I want to express my commitment to you. Feel free to be imperfect and to mess up, because I truly believe that that is how you will best learn in life and come to find Jesus. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. I will do my best to pray for you and be there for you. I don't have all the answers, but we can figure them out together. I love you all, and I hope I can continue to grow in being your servant. I won't live your life out for you, but I will point you to God for the answers. My brother-in-law was teaching one of the sessions, and he's a basketball fan, and he had a funny analogy. He really loves LeBron James and said that if LeBron ever asked him to do his dirty, sweaty laundry after the basketball game, he would say, "Of course," with enthusiasm. How much more can we be this way for Jesus and for our members? I will do my best to wait patiently, to listen and to be there for you, and to help clean up any mess. And I will ultimately trust God in doing the change. I will be faithful as long as God has me here as your shepherd. I will love you, pray for you, and be there for you. Ultimately, what is the final destination of house church? When I began as a shepherd, my goal was to point my members to God and to heaven. That heaven is where we are going, and that being in the presence of God will be greater than any joy this world can offer. So ANF, it's okay if you never get your vacations, your promotions, your jobs, that girlfriend or boyfriend, delicious trendy food, clothes, whatever you seek throughout your weekend life, because none of this will come with us to heaven. But we will be so much more fulfilled with Jesus. Thanks, guys.